that was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my entire life. Literally, it felt like her whole arm was inside of me. Oh my god. Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel guys. If you're new here today, hi, my name is Lena, nice to meet ya. If you're prepared to be amazed, give this video a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the post notifications so you don't miss a single video. So today I'm going to tell you guys about my labor and delivery story. I'm just gonna get right into it because it's kind of long and I don't want to miss anything. So I was scheduled an induction for the 28th. We got all of the stuff together and we headed to Vanderbilt. We were there for about an hour or two. Then they informed us that because I was scheduled an induction and there were so many emergency cases that night, women I guess who thought that they might have been in labor, they got my room, which I was like so thrown off by. We waited a little bit longer because there was a possibility that I would be able to get in later that night / early in the morning, but I ended up not getting in until the next night, which was super frustrating. I was so pissed and I let them have a piece of my mind. I kind of regret being so frustrated with them because it wasn't necessarily their fault, but I wasn't informed that if I had a scheduled induction that someone came in before my scheduled induction, they would get my room. And I guess that's kind of common sense, but it wasn't explained to me, and like, this is my first child, so how was I supposed to know? We drive all the way back to Laverne and I end up staying with my boyfriend at his mom's house. I spent the night there, and then the next night rolls around and we head back to Vanderbilt, and I got a phone call saying that yes, I can come in. There's an open room and it's all mine. When we got to the hospital, we got right in. I don't really remember waiting that long for the room. We just went in the room. A lot of people came in the room. I don't really remember how many people I spoke with. I know that there was a nurse. I know there was the anesthesiologist, or one of them at least. I know that there was a midwife. I know that there was a lady checking for insurance, and just a lot of other people, y'all. Like, I talked to so many people. So after I did that, got signed in, we got our wristbands, got all the bags to the room, signed everything. This is when it started. I don't have a really good memory of my labor and delivery because I was on a lot, and everything's pretty like foggy. I don't even remember the day that she was born, so I'm gonna try to do my best to explain this situation without leaving out anything, but if I do happen to leave out an important piece, I will leave it down below. From what I remember, the midwife came in and we started on this little tiny pill that you put in your cheeks and you just kind of let it dissolve. I don't remember what it was called, but we did that, and we did 2 doses of that. So I did the 2 first, then we waited a little while, then we did 2 again. I wasn't really feeling my contractions. I was having some, but I didn't really feel them. I think I was like, yes, I got this. Contractions are gonna be no freaking big deal. What I thought was gonna happen next was gonna be to start on Pitocin, which is like a bag of fluid that they put through your IV. And, oh, hold on one second. So I got stuck quite a few times. I'm pretty sure it was like 3 times, and they have huge needles, and I guess it's because they don't want the IV to come out because you're like in bed for so long, and it was pretty painful. It did not put me in tears though, so if you are an expecting mom and you're about to go into labor, just know it is bad, but it's not that bad, okay? You can do it. Anyway, so I thought the next thing was to start on the Pitocin, but that is not what my midwife wanted to do. So she explained to me about this thing called a Foley tube or something, and basically it's like a water balloon that they insert into your cervix to open you up, to dilate you. We ended up doing that before the Pitocin. You guys, that was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my entire life. This was before I got my epidural. it was painful. Literally, it felt like her whole arm was inside of me, and that might seem like too much information, but I'm just letting you guys know this is about to get real honest in this video. Oh my gosh. After the pills, I wasn't even dilated. She said I was dilated like half of a centimeter, so it wasn't even half a centimeter, okay? For her to like put this Foley tube inside of me or whatever, I would have had to be at least a half a centimeter. Well, they think that they can put it in, so that's what they did, even though I wasn't even dilated far enough apparently. Worst pain ever, worse than the contractions. I was in tears, I was crying. First I was like handling it, I was breathing, and then I just could not take it anymore. She was putting this Foley tube inside of me for a good 10 minutes, it felt like. It might have been less than that or more than that, but I swear it was like 10 minutes long, and it was so freaking painful. They kept on looking at me and they kept on saying,
"You're doing a good job. Relax your face, relax your muscles, you're very tense, loosen up."
and I'm like, how the am I gonna loosen up? Your whole arm is literally in my cervix. Like, no. So we got through that, thank God, and we were just chilling, watching TV, talking, me and my boyfriend, and then I started to feel some contractions. They were like period cramps, and I was kind of starting to feel them a little bit more, and I was like, yeah, I need something, but I don't want the epidural yet. So they came in, we weighed out all of our options, and they gave me a morphine shot, which was the best thing in the world. It was in my butt, and that was my first time getting a shot in my butt, and honestly, it didn't hurt. It just was so weird, and you think that you'd be embarrassed to like get a shot in your butt, but at that point I was just like, whatever, look at my butt, look at my boobs, look at my vag, like you can look at my whole body, I don't care anymore. I need this morphine shot. That shot was amazing. It didn't numb anything, I could still feel like touch, you know, but it just made the pain decease. Okay, best thing ever. So the shot wears off, and I start to feel the contractions a little more and a little more and a little more, and then I'm debating, like, I really don't want to get the epidural, can I just get another shot? So I call the nurse or whatever on the little remote thingy for her to come in, and I tell her what I'm thinking about, and then they were like, well, let me go get the midwife. I was like, why do we need the midwife? Whatever. So the midwife comes in and tells me that she thinks that I should go ahead and get the epidural because the pain's just going to keep increasing and increasing. So if I wait until like I can't take it anymore, I'm going to be sitting there trying to get the epidural while I'm in excruciating pain, and I could possibly move and blah 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 blah. So I was like, alright, I'll go ahead and get the epidural. So it took me about 15 minutes to make up my mind, and then it took another 15 for the anesthesiologist to come in. So it was a good 30 minutes after we had that conversation that I got my epidural. I don't know why, as soon as this man poked me with the numbing needle, my contractions came in like that. I started to feel everything. I was crying while I was getting my epidural because my contractions were so strong at that point, and I started to feel them. And it was hard because they want you to sit still, and my boyfriend was in front of me, and I think that my feet were on his lap, or like he was holding my hands, and I was so mean to him, you guys. I was like, please don't touch me, just get off of me. I don't even know if I said please, but I know that I told him to get off of me because I don't want to die. And then the nurse was like messing with something in my shirt. I don't really remember what it was. It was like a cord or something. I just remember like I was kind of moving back and forth while he was like sticking me. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, like I'm moving around, I'm gonna be paralyzed. So I started to cry, and I was like, I really just don't want to die, I don't want to be paralyzed. And then the nurse was like, he's literally the best anesthesiologist, I would let him poke me right now. So I started to calm down. The epidural itself didn't hurt, it was highly uncomfortable. It was a strange sensation, and it just made me cringe. So when I felt it, I like jolted. I could not sit still when that happened. So it was a little bit to the right that I felt it, and apparently it was supposed to be in the middle. And it was like as if you had like a wound that was open and someone just like pressed on it, but in your back. Yeah, this didn't feel right. So he ended up poking me again, higher up though. So I got poked twice with the numbing needle, I guess. I swear my epidural took like 30 minutes. It took forever to get my epidural in. After I got the epidural, I felt so good, best feeling ever. Then they put my catheter in, didn't hurt at all, it actually kind of felt good. And then they checked me again, that felt great. The pressure that they tell you that you feel is not even pressure. Like, it didn't feel like anything. It was like pressure, but it wasn't pressure, okay? Let me tell you guys, I was actually kind of nervous to be numb because I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but it really wasn't that bad. It actually felt really good. They do have to come in and help you move sides, and eventually my epidural didn't work. Now they tell you that there's this button you can press to like up the medicine, but you can't overdose on it. Once you use all of it, it'll not work anymore. Mine really wasn't working. Like, it numbed my legs, everything down there was fine, the left side of my body was fine, but I was feeling contractions like in my upper quadrant of my stomach. I felt everything in that one freaking spot, you guys. I was like in tears, I was crunched, I was so uncomfortable. I was like laying on my side like this, and I was like, can someone please help me, please move me? They didn't move me the way that I wanted to be moved. It was just very uncomfortable and very painful. So after the anesthesiologist came in, I think he came in like twice to fix me, and nothing was working. So I was just in pain. They seemed to just be taking their sweet precious time, and I just kept repeating over and over again, they need to get in here, I need more medicine, I need more medicine. I kept pressing the button, I kept pressing the nurse button. Nobody was coming in. I was like, can you go tell them to get me more medicine? Like, I just kept repeating myself. My boyfriend was like, you need to calm down, breathe. So I was like I was breathing and it wasn't working. I was hyperventilating. It was really bad because I was only feeling it on this side, and I was also laying on that side, and my collarbone was crunched. I thought my collarbone was broken. That's how painful it was. Don't think that pain ever got resolved. So I was in pain for a while, and then they started to notice that my baby's heartbeat was dropping as my contractions were increasing. I kind of fell asleep with the pain, and then all of a sudden there were so many people in my room, and then they woke me up and they were like,
so because your baby's heart rate keeps decreasing as your contractions continue to get higher and higher and more frequent or whatever, we're gonna have to do a C-section.
y'all, I freaked the out. Crying hysterically. I was like, no, 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 no. Like, I cannot have a C-section. I've never had a surgery. I do not want to have a C-section. This can't happen to me. I'm not going to recover the way I want to. I'm not going to be able to work out. I'm not going to be able to walk up the stairs. If the medicine isn't working now, it's definitely not going to work then. The lady was like explaining to me how C-sections work, and she was the one who did it and everything. And the anesthesiologist was in there, and I think there was actually 2 of them in there at that point. There was a midwife, there was a nurse. And they were like, yeah, we're doing this. And I was like, no, 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 no. I just kept saying no, and I was crying. And then I remember my boyfriend in my ear, he was like, you got this, God's got you, something. And that's all I remember. And they end up rolling me out into the hallway, and I just remember thinking like, oh my God, I look like one of those crazy freaking patients crying on a bed. Like, I looked like a psycho. Like, in the back of my mind I was thinking these things, but like deep down I was like, I don't give a F. I do not want to have this surgery. So I get into the surgery room, and it's so bright, and I just close my eyes because I don't want to hear anybody. I don't want to see anybody. They just begin like doing all this stuff to me. So I was allowed to keep my bra on. I would have been able to keep my hospital gown on, but it had like little metal buttons on it, I guess. So they had to rip that off and then put like another gown on top of me. I was like hearing them talking, and they were saying, oh no. And like they were saying like things that would freak you out if you were in surgery. And they were like, her heart rate's dropping even more. And then they were like, we can't do this. And in my mind I was like, we can't do what? Because her heart rate dropped to like 70. They didn't have time to keep pumping me with fluids because I could feel everything still on that one side, guys. I was not, like, the medicine was not working for me. They ended up having to put me to sleep, which is something that the first guy that I talked to when I first got to the hospital, the anesthesiologist, he was like, you know, it's pretty rare for you to have a C-section and be put to sleep. And I would be that one person who has a C-section and has to be put to sleep because the freaking medicine don't work. I was really mad and really scared. They were like, no, everybody get out. And I was like, so my boyfriend can't come in? And they were like, no. And I was like, so I don't have anybody here with me. And then I think it was the anesthesiologist. He was like, no, I'm here with you. And I was like, no, you're not. You're not here with me. And I started freaking out. I was really upset. I didn't have anybody in there with me. And it was my first surgery ever. They had to put a tube down my throat because they had to put me to sleep. And I could feel it, but apparently they put it down in your mouth, not through your neck. But I felt something like stabbing me lightly in my neck. It had just been the sensation, but all I remember was saying, no one's here with me, you're not here with me. And then I just remember waking up and I was back in the room that we originally went in when we first got to the hospital. So I was awake, and again, there were so many people in the room talking to me, giving me information. I don't remember what they were saying at all. I was really out of it. I know that they asked me if I wanted to hold my baby, and I was like, no, I don't, like, I can't. I couldn't even think. I couldn't even look straight. I felt like when she was talking to me, I was like looking at everything else. There's a picture of my boyfriend like putting my daughter up to my face. I don't even remember that. I don't remember that anything that day. I was so out of it, y'all. All I remember is that we switched rooms. So we were put in like a holding room. By the time we were in the holding room, we were fine. We were only in there for like a few hours. And I remember someone coming in to help me like get out of bed, get dressed, because I couldn't be rolled into the new room. I had to get in a wheelchair. I don't know how many hours went by. I'm pretty sure it was like 12 or 13 hours after my surgery. I still hadn't walked. And they're supposed to make you walk 6 hours after surgery, I'm pretty sure. And nobody came in there to make me walk. So I was in bed that whole entire time. So when I first got out of bed, you guys, I was in so much pain. It wasn't like the pain that I've felt since I've been home for the recovery process. It was just like weird to walk because my legs were numb for so long. And then like it was very weird, and I was still really out of it. I couldn't put my pants on. We had to walk to the bathroom. I was still on fluids. It was a lot. I got in the wheelchair, then we moved all of our stuff into the new room. When we got into the new room, the new room, I had a couple of nurses who were pretty bitchy to me. One particular just came in and was like,
Okay, you're good to go. Like, get up and walk.
I had to pee. I had to pee really bad. And I guess someone had told her that I was doing really good and I had been walking, but that was not the case. The only time I got up, you guys, was when I had to get up out of the holding room and get into the wheelchair. And that lady who came in there to help me really helped me a lot. Like, I was holding on to her and Princeton. I was pulling up on them, which they were really pulling up on me. Like, I wasn't doing anything. So I really did not walk. So this nurse, it might have not been her fault, but she just didn't seem to care at all. She just came in and was like, okay, you're good to go. My boyfriend had to help me pee. He had to put my pad on. He had to put my underwear on. Like, all the stuff that nurse should have been doing, my boyfriend was doing. I was so thankful that he was there. If you follow me on my Instagram, I made like a huge long post about all of this and all of the help that my boyfriend really did. And I know that's what the boyfriend or the support system is supposed to do, but I feel like he went above and beyond. Like, he put my freaking underwear on me, he put my pants on me, he put my pad on me. He saw me in the worst shape possible and still cared for me and still loved me and took care of our baby that whole time because I still couldn't hold her. I was just so exhausted. All I wanted to do was sleep. Hey y'all, so I am in my bed editing this video, and I just wanted to say that this was so traumatic for me, you guys. It's made me not want to get pregnant ever again because of all that stuff I went through just to end up having an emergency C-section, okay? I was in labor for like 2 days, and experiencing all of that just to end up with a C-section, not even getting to push. And I really wanted to push, especially after I got my epidural. I was like, I could totally do this. I felt a little bit of pressure, but I wanted to push my baby out. I wanted to see her come out. I wanted to be awake. I wanted to remember her birth, and I don't at all. So it was just a lot, and it kind of makes me upset just thinking about it. It was super duper traumatic. Just everything did not go smoothly. I was very alone at the end. Not at the very end, but like during the surgery, and it was not a pleasant experience. So I'm not saying to not get an induction, but my situation was just not a happy experience. I am running out of space on my phone, and it literally just cut me off, so I'm gonna go ahead and peace out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I will upload another video about my recovery process in the 3rd room that we were in, and then coming home with a newborn after a C-section. So this is all I have for you guys today, so I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace.